Alexis.
And I'm Christian, and this is the tiny Pink Cottage in Bend, Oregon.
Today we're going to give you a tour of this 105-year-old cottage, part of our small space design series where we share intriguing small rental houses to help you design your dream tiny home.
All right, let's go check it out. All right, welcome inside to this 680 square foot bungalow-style cottage.
It's actually 576 square feet in the main living space, and at some point the back porch was closed in for another 104 square feet, and that's the laundry room.
First, let's talk a little history about this house.
So the year is 1920. But seriously, it was built in 1920 as a home for a mill worker family. And back then in Bend, bungalows were a popular home because they were inexpensive and easy to build.
So you can really tell that it was made in that era because it's a very efficiently made house. So it's 24 feet square, and each one of the rooms is a 12-foot square.
Yeah, back then the lumber mill was a big business here in Bend, and small and tiny bungalows were just a very inexpensive kind of home to build with locally sourced lumber.
And they were all over this town.
There's still many of them left. But in 2015, the Airbnb hosts bought this house and began renovating it to painstakingly restore as much as the original charm as possible, including these original wood floors, which are beautiful.
Yeah, I always love an old wood floor like this.
So much charm, and more charm with all the great vintage decor they added.
What's cool about every room is they are square. Like I said, 12 by 12. So in here you can place furniture just about wherever you want. You can have it like it's in front of the windows now. You could put it so like there's a sofa more in front of the door. You could put a huge sofa in here if you really wanted to. But there's all kinds of options when you have a square like this.
Yeah, besides the square shape, the 12-foot width makes a massive difference. It's like when you see a tiny house on wheels that's 10 feet wide compared to the 8.5 feet wide.
Yeah.
And you're like, all of a sudden, I can have a couch and a table without having to like shimmy by something. And in here, it's, like Christian said, so much more flexible.
And in here is bright and beautiful. So having this shape, you're able to put at least 2 windows on 2 different walls in every room. That makes the living room like nice and airy, and it's great.
So in the corner over here is a super sweet gas stove that looks super vintagey, but it's modern. And it puts out a crazy amount of heat.
Yeah, it's warm. It's a good one.
And I'm gonna have to look up this model because it can get really close to the wall, which is nice compared to wood stoves.
Yeah, it doesn't need a surround around it. It's great.
And another great piece of furniture in here is the TV stand, because it's on wheels. We love things on wheels because you can roll it around when you're having a movie night if you want to get like big screen.
Yeah, big screen it, yeah. And 2 things that Alexis and I both love are a lot of hooks for jackets over there, and nice lighting. So in here there's so many lamps and sconces and stuff.
Oh my gosh, you can get that nice soft light at night.
Yeah.
Oh, and this lamp table, there's all kinds of versions of lamp tables that I've seen.
Yeah.
Perfect for small spaces because multifunction. Well, with that said, let's go check out the kitchen.
So how cool is this kitchen?
It's so cute and so much space, and that's why it doubles as a kitchen and a dining space with this cute little breakfast nook over here. But there's so many great features in here.
So all this cabinetry back here is original. The cool thing is they decided to just update a couple of things. I mean, it's a kitchen, so you want it to work well. So they updated it by putting tile on the countertop, and on the backsplash. But the backsplash is like this cool pink that makes it feel, you know, a little more 50s in here.
It's like the house has like a blend of like 20s with a dash of 50s.
Yeah.
I think it's working really nicely. I really love that the owners added this great dish storage shelf. Before it was just an empty space, and this fits in perfectly, and it's a great way to display pretty dishes. And I'm a big believer, especially when you're doing downsized living, don't save anything for special occasions. Use your nice dishes on a regular basis and show them off.
Yeah.
There are also versions of shelves like this where you can put away your wet dishes and it will drain right into the sink, and that makes it even better for small space kitchens. Another small space favorite is a tiny movable kitchen island. So you can move this out of the way while you're cooking at the stove or closer to the sink.
Yeah, there's all kinds of places you can move this. If you're washing dishes, you can put it over here and use it to do things.
Exactly.
And put it over there next to the stove. Yeah, this is great. I'm surprised it's not bigger because this would fit in like a lot of different tiny houses.
That's true, but great additional workspace as well as storage space. And of course, there's versions of this with a flip-up table and even stools underneath.
Oh, yeah.
So you can make it into a dining space.
So except for the fridge, all the appliances are pretty much like updated in here. The refrigerator is gotta be 60 years old. But it's a cool pink. I mean, look at the inside of it. It is literally an old fridge and it sounds amazing.
Like a fridge should sound.
Yeah, like you can hear it from the other room kind of sound.
You know, people spend a lot of money these days to buy retro style fridges because they used to have so much charm. I don't know what happened to modern appliances. They got boring.
The reason people have gone away from these old fridges is because there's even a little note on the side. You need to defrost the freezer. So that means like getting in there with an ice pick or a screwdriver to get all the ice out.
Okay, so the downsides of a truly vintage fridge.
So one of the other appliances is this little apartment stove. And it's great, totally functional. It's not super old or vintage or anything like that, but it works, man.
And fun fact, this is very similar to the one in our own tiny house on wheels.
Yep.
You could still fit a full-size cookie sheet in it, which I appreciate.
And the last big appliance in here is the tiniest dishwasher I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And that's pretty amazing to have a dishwasher this small in this house. So it's nice to have a few updated things just to make, you know, make your life a little bit simpler.
And on this side of the kitchen is a sweet breakfast nook. And I really like this shelving unit, great use of vertical space for decorative and functional storage.
Yeah, because, you know, it has a bunch of decorative stuff on there, which is really cool. Like the dish storage over there, you could use this as your full-time dish storage and glasses and all that and just make it kind of pretty, you know, use the pretty stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think a booth is a great use of space, a compact booth. It really doesn't take up much floor space.
No.
And you can have seating for, 4 people. Got to get a little cozy, but it works.
Totally. And this booth, they purchased it. You know, you could actually build a booth in a space like this and have a little bit more room. You could have just a little bit of a bigger seat.
With storage underneath, of course.
Yes. One thing I think is cool is this chair. Only because it reminds me of the kitchen chairs that I had when I was a kid. They were like this, a little bit taller, but they were like green vinyl with a leaf pattern on them. And it felt just like this. It's so crazy.
So when you were a kid, so this is legit vintage then. And through this door is what used to be the back porch and is now a great multifunctional space, laundry room, and storage space. I think it'd be great for additional pantry items.
And you can really tell that back room was a porch at one time and closed in because it's still got the slanted roof and the floor is slanted towards that back door.
Oh, and for anyone who wants to rent this cottage on Airbnb, it's important to note that out the back door is where you access the little yard and a hot tub.
Hot tub's always good. Because this house was built real efficiently, you know, it's 24 by 24 with 12 by 12 rooms. It doesn't have a hallway. So what that means is you have doorways into different rooms. So doorway into the kitchen and another doorway into the bedroom. So you have to go through the bedroom to get into the bathroom too. But this way is the bedroom, the master. And a nice bright yellow bedroom. My mom would love this.
Yeah, it's not bright. It's like a soft yellow.
Yeah, you're right. It's like a buttery.
Yeah. Well, in tiny home terms, this is a massive bedroom.
Yeah, totally.
Of course, it's a little bit bigger. You know, we're 567 square feet in the main living space. So you can see how much room you have to work with, where not only can you have a bed and storage, but you can fit something like this big old vanity in here.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And this is where you can really see a big difference between 400 square feet and 500, 550 to 600 square feet. It's a world of difference.
Yeah, it is.
And if you want to see what we mean, check out this tour we did of a darling 400 square foot cottage. And you can really see how much more storage and flexibility you have in a slightly bigger footprint. So definitely something to keep in mind. I mean, one thing is on this square layout, you could turn it into a 2-bedroom somehow. It'd be a little bit tricky, but...
You could. It would be a room with a bed in it, but you could absolutely do that. It would still be bigger than a loft in a tiny house.
Very true.
Yeah. As you can see behind us, there's 2 doors. And one is the bathroom, but the other one is a closet. I would say more of a dressing room than a closet. And that's probably how, when they built this house, what they thought it would be is you go in there and actually pick out your clothes and get dressed.
Which I think is fun. I like that idea. I mean, it's almost big enough for that second bedroom we were talking about.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite.
Yeah, it can hold a very small twin bed.
If you're a fashion lover, you got a lot of clothes and shoes, this is perfect for you. And through the other door is the bathroom.
I'm gonna let her show you that. I'm gonna go in here, sit down.
You know when people say they don't build things like they used to? Well, I kind of know what they're talking about, because this bathroom is how things should be. Amazing built-in storage that's original. And even though the sink doesn't have much space around it to put things, you got this great tabletop space right next to it where you can put your makeup in the morning when you're getting ready. And on the other side is the original clawfoot bathtub. Talk about character. This is really charming. It would be a great place to relax. There's also a shower head in here if that's what you prefer. I know for Christian, he doesn't like showers in bathtubs like this because he doesn't like being so close to the curtains around you, because this is really set up to take a nice soak, not a shower. But I still love it. This historic house is a great example of a small bungalow-style cottage. But if you're curious about a tinier version, check out this tour right here.
And if you want to see more kinds of tiny homes, check out our homepage. And don't forget to subscribe.